Hi there, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nagina Matiza and today I'm going to share my Chapli Kabab recipe with you. I've got all of my ingredients right here in front of me. So let's follow the recipe. In this bowl I've got minced meat and this is actually with a bit of a fat. I had the butcher add a little extra fat to it because with Chapli Kabab you need fatty meat. So that's that right here. This is about 2 pounds. And in terms of spices, I've got crushed carom seeds, I've got crushed cumin seeds, crushed chili flakes, I have homemade garam masala, and I will link the video for this, and I have cumin seed powder. I'm using crushed cumin seeds and cumin seed powder. I've got crushed coriander seeds, and I've got pomegranate seed powder. Now traditionally the dish actually requires using the whole pomegranate seeds rather than the powder, but when you're eating the kebab, the seeds come in your mouth and it kind of, it doesn't taste that great, so I made powder, but you can choose to use the seeds. Now I've got salt, I have an egg here, these are the dry ingredients, and of course the black pepper, I'll need that here. Finely chopped, I've got here minced ginger, minced garlic, finely chopped mint leaves. I've got green chili finely chopped as well. I've got chopped cilantro and chopped tomatoes. In here I've got chopped onions, but what I'll do is I have to, once I'm ready to add the onion there, I'll show you, you will have to squeeze the water out of the onion before adding it to the kebab mix, because onion has a lot of water, and if you don't squeeze it, you're gonna have a hard time putting your kebabs together. So that's right here. And in this pot, big bowl container, I've got corn flour, again, optional ingredient. I will use about 2 teaspoons of corn flour in this much meat. If you don't want to add that, you don't have to. And I will actually make 2 kebabs without the corn flour, and I'll show you the difference, and you can't even tell the difference, but corn flour might help you with the stickiness of the keema or the mincemeat. So let's start putting these ingredients together. Again, most of these are about teaspoon and a half of each of these ingredients as per my the amount that I'm making. So I'm going to add the crushed cumin seeds, crushed carom seeds, and again crushed chili flakes, homemade garam masala, cumin seed powder, pomegranate seed powder, and crushed coriander seeds. Usually if you've seen the Chapli kebabs, you'll know that all the dry ingredients are not in powder form. Most of these are crushed, so you can actually see them whole in the kebab mix. That's the point, because that's why it tastes so different. And I'm going to also crack some black pepper on this as well, so you'll be able to definitely see that in the mix. And of course I'm going to add my green chili. As you can see, here is the chopped mint, cilantro, ginger, garlic, and tomatoes. Okay, let me add this much. I'm gonna mix it around, and then I will add the rest of these ingredients, and I'll keep mixing it. We have to mix it in a way that it's nice and also becomes really smooth. So yes, you're able to see the spices, but they're so nicely mixed in with the meat that it's just, blended, but you're, instead of putting it in a food processor, you're doing it with your hand. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, don't be afraid to use your hands. This actually mixes better when you're using your hands, and you know how much you need to do and how much is already done. So there we go. All right, so this is how it looks for now. I'm gonna do is add the egg. Again, egg is used as a binding agent as well, so it's gonna make stick the kebabs together. Now the onions. Remember what I said about the onions? So you have to squeeze the water out of the onion. Okay, don't add the onion with the water because then your kebabs are not gonna stick together. All right. Look at the water that's coming out of the onion. That's a lot of water. Imagine leaving that in your kebabs, right? You want the taste of onion, definitely, but you don't want the water. Okay, so I think that's enough. Let me just one last bit here. My hands are not gonna smell that great after this whole onion thing that I'm doing. I'm gonna probably use a really strong hand soap, you know, the really strong smelling ones, to make sure that this smell doesn't stick. All right, so I'm gonna get to mixing again. There we go. But this looks good. I'll show you close up once I'm ready, so you know what I'm talking about. Here we go. And you don't have to add the chili powder, you know, the red chili, because I'm adding green chili and I'm adding crushed chili flakes. So that is enough for spice in there. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna add a little bit more cilantro and this much more tomatoes pieces. Why don't I just finish it off? It's not that much. Once I am done with this, and before I add the corn flour, I'm gonna take some out for me because I don't want anything. I don't want my kebabs to have corn flour. I'll eat them just as is. And the rest of the kebabs I'll add for my kids. I'll add the corn flour so they can actually have the proper kebab the way it's done, rather than my keto version of it, right? Okay. Let me show you how the mix looks. There you go. You see that? This is the mix. Now, let me take some out for myself. This is gonna give me about 2 to 3 kebabs. I'm gonna put it on the side. And now, I am literally going to add maybe 2 teaspoons of corn flour to give it a really nice and crispiness outside. There we go. That's it. And now that the mix is ready, this is with the corn flour. You won't be able to tell right now, but once I have the kebabs ready, then you might be able to tell the difference from outside in terms of texture and all that. But it doesn't really, you can't tell me by looking at it that this pot has it with corn flour and this is without it. Now I am going to leave this, cover it up and leave it out for about 40 minutes before I start making the kebab. Right, so here is the kebab mix. I just want to show you the close up. Look at all the spices and everything else that you can still see in here. Now I've made this and kept it outside. I covered it up and kept it outside for about 40 minutes. So now it's ready. It's time for me to start making the kebabs. In this bowl, I have some water. I'm gonna dip my hand in the water, and then when I'm making kebabs, the mixture is not gonna stick to my hand. You can also use oil on your hands, so it's nicely, you're able to nicely slide it off. I am using my cast iron to make these kebabs. Of course, once the cast iron is really nice and hot, the kebabs are gonna cook fast. And if you've had chapli kebabs, you know that these are sort of deep fried in really fatty oil and everything. And sometimes people even put extra fat, beef fat in it when they're frying the kebabs. I didn't have extra beef fat, but I added the beef fat in my minced meat, so that's okay. I'm going to shallow fry these. I'm not going to deep fry them. And for me, the ones that I'm going to make without the corn flour, and I'm not going to shallow fry my kebabs, I'm just going to, use olive oil and cook them with a little bit of oil. So let's make the kebabs now. Let me show you. So you take the amount that you think is okay, right? And chapli kebabs are sort of, they're not that round. It doesn't really matter what shape. They're round, they're oval, I've seen them all. And as long as they taste good, that's what matters, right? So there you go. And because I had water on my hand, they're not sticking to my hand. So I think the oil is ready. So let me put one in there to see. Be careful. Oh yeah. There we go. And I am going to make, well, it's going to be a a lot of kebabs today, but I'll show you. I'll make few and then I'll show you the difference between the keto Chapli Kabab versus the regular ones. See if you can tell the difference by looking at it, okay? So I'll make these 3 regulars and then I'll make the keto ones, the ones without the corn flour, sorry. Look at the tomatoes, they're nicely going to cook, and that's what keeps the kebabs juicy, right? There we go, and they're going to develop a really nice crust. Okay, so take a look. You see the way they're cooking? Okay, let's see if this one is ready to be flipped. Oh yes, there you go. Okay. Be careful when you're flipping them. If you're too rough, then you might end up breaking them. But you see that this took what minutes, not even on each side, because my cast iron is really nice and hot, so it's cooking them much faster. But my heat is low. I want the kebabs to be fully cooked from inside. So make sure that you adjust your heat. Okay. All right, so the kebabs are ready. I'm going to take them out. But let me show you how each of these look. Now look at that. See? You can still see the crust is nice. You can see the tomatoes. You can see other spices. And they are nicely cooked from both sides. There we go. All right, so I'm taking the kebabs out now. Take a look. This is how they look already. Now, I know you probably can't tell, but this one is made without the corn flour, and the rest of these are with corn flour. I honestly can't tell a difference. The reason I will remember when I'm eating it is because this one has a piece of onions that I kept on top to tell them apart. So this is how it looks, and of course you have to enjoy this with chutneys, homemade chutneys again. And yeah, so they smell really good. They're 100% ready. I'm gonna take a bite out of my one that I made for myself and show you. See how they're nicely cooked through and through. Very crispy from outside, but very juicy from inside. Okay, so this is really hot. Very good, very tasty. Has really nice, I can taste the pomegranate. The taste is there. The crushed ingredients actually make this taste absolutely amazing. And of course you can add a little bit of a lemon juice to give it a nice, sour taste. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. Please do remember to subscribe to my channel. Till next time, take care and stay safe.